My name is Muthoni Kariuki, Wamai, as he mentioned, and I'm super excited to be here with you guys today. Just before we start, I would like to mention in terms of how our presentation is going to be, it's going to be very interactive. So si mi peke yangu nitakuwa naongea, I'm going to be throwing questions to you, okay? All right, so I love what was going on before I came here because it's reminded me of, say like 15 years ago when I was seated where you're seated and somebody came and stood here and gave a similar presentation, and here I am today. And today we're going to be talking about personal branding. And you can think that personal branding itaanza baadaye, but even as what we are doing today, I was seated behind there, seeing how some of us were making our presentations, also hearing what he was talking about. That's still part of personal branding, right? So it doesn't start from outside, it even starts from inside. When you walk into a room, when you stand in front of people, when you talk about your project, when you go and present yourself out there to other institutions, how do people believe who you are and how do you see you as you are, okay? So I'm going to start off by taking us through what you're going to be covering today. So we'll spend a bit of time going through introduction to personal branding, and then we'll discover your unique niche, and then we'll also go through building a personal brand persona. We're also going to be looking at the platforms and presence that you're going to be using even as you build your brand. We're going to be looking how you can create influence and thought leadership. And then we are going to be looking at how do you target your audience. We'll also have an interactive breakout sessions with a few questions that you're going to be looking at. And last but not least, you're going to be having action points and the next steps, okay? As I mentioned to you, my presentation will entail a lot of talking. So I want you to look at this. If you are not in the room, what would people say about you? If you don't look at me, you're telling me to choose you. I'll start with you. What's your name?
Kinyanjui Isaac.
Your name is?
Kinyanjui Isaac.
Kinyanjui. What would people say about you when you're not in this room? What would these people say about you?
So basically about my reputation. Sometimes I'm a joker.
They would say you're a joker?
Yeah, at times.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm also serious.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, what I want to be. And that's basically...
You're serious and you're also a joker.
Serious and also a joker.
All right. Somebody else? Yes? Tell me your name and what people would say about you.
My name is Noel.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on the space that I am in because I'm very observant in the past. So people say I'm more reserved. And then if I'm in familiar spaces, people say I'm very outgoing.
Okay. Some people would say you're reserved, some would say you're outgoing. One last person. Yes.
Okay, I think people will say that I'm so bubbly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right. Bubbly. All righty. Okay, when you see this, you need to represent yourself, assuming I was a potential investor, assuming I was a potential client, right? You are your personal brand and you need to sell yourself. And you need to be very careful about the words you use, and you need to have thought about them, because if somebody told you, please tell us about yourself, if you're given that opportunity, would you say, I am funny, and at times, okay, I'm serious, and at times I am a joker? Would you say that? Why? Why not? You shook your head. Why not?
Okay, since in such a space, you require them to take with that seriousness so that they'll try and maybe mobilize some resources in whatever you're trying to see. So definitely We'd approach them with the seriousness that is required.
All right.
Yeah.
Good answer. So that's how I want us to think about ourselves even as we go through this. Because at times an investor will come, just like he said, they may come, you don't even know who they are, and they ask you a question, and the way you present yourself is going to make them know, do I want to invest in your brand? Do I want to invest in you or not, right? And then thinking about it, there are so many people who are doing what you're doing, right? If I was to choose two people, what would make you stand out? For example, in such a class, what would make you stand out so that somebody would say, I want that person. I want that person in my team. I want to invest in that person. So it is always important for you to have that in mind even before you go and stand before people to start speaking, all right? So basically, when you're talking about personal branding, it's what people say about you when you're not in the room, all right? And it is important for you to make sure whatever they are saying about you, it resonates with who you are. And don't think about it in terms of it depends on where I am. Because you can't control, because you're not in the room, right? So it is important for you to even start building that brand, start practicing. When I'm called somewhere to speak, or when someone introduces me in front of people, what would they want to say about me? You know, you would write like a very nice CV or a very nice profile about yourself. You need to practice that, and you also need to walk in what you have said. Why? Because that is what is going to be speaking to you, all right? So why does it matter? Number one, it gives you career growth. Again, as you usually say, right now, there are so many people who are going through uni, and then if you look at the jobs that are available, haziko mingi. If you decide to move through the entrepreneurship route, there are so many people who are doing what you're doing, yeah? And how are people going to notice you? How are you going to grow even in terms of your career? It is how you present yourself. Number two, community impact. If you do not stand out, right, you're not going to have an impact in the community. And you're going to be looking at this in the next slide about people who have invested in their brand. And right now, community has accepted them, and they are considered a big brand. And then lastly, leadership influence. Nobody wants to follow somebody who is not well known or maybe creating an impact. So it is really, really important for us to make sure that we are working on our personal brand so that we can be able to have leadership influence, okay? Now, I want you to look here and tell me, out of these people, who do you know? Anybody? Is there anyone you know? Give me an answer, yes or no?
No.
No? Nobody kabisa kabisa? All right. There are people you're seeing you know? Yes. Who are we seeing?
Commander.
Who are you seeing? Some are saying Commander. Lupita. Uh-huh. 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 Hey, Bonicheo. So let me ask, why do you know these people and you don't know these people? Why?
Invested in their personal brand.
Correct. They've invested in their personal brand. So for these slides, I just went and randomly picked random people, even me, I don't know them, and put them here. And this could be your story, that you're just in the area of influence you're in. Where are you? Are you here or are you here? And I would want you to be honest with yourself. And it is okay if you're here and working towards becoming this. But I can tell you, for these people to get to this level, they just didn't start today. I will give you an example of someone I know. You see this group here? I used to be with them in class. Yes, back then, Kitambo. So I went to USIU and we were with them in class. And you could see, even from back in the days, I also used to sing back in the day. So we would do a lot of curtain raising. Then they used to do a lot of acoustic music. And then at times they would play at the cafeteria and whatnot. And as a result of working towards their craft, today they are a household name, right? And if you look at all these people, what does Lupita do? She's an actress, right? What does Caro do? She's a media personality, yeah? What is Mkurugenzi well known for?
Content creation.
Content creation. And he was an actor where? Hey, okay. Nashtuka munajua hizo vipindi. We of course know who this is. How about her? Sorry? Yes. How about this guy? Dan. Eh? And then you have someone here. What about him? And lastly, what about Boniface?
Political activism.
Exactly. So what does this mean? It means that you can influence at different places. There are people who are well known for controversy, and then there are people who are well known for different things. So it is for you to be able to create your story and to be able to live out your story so that you can move from here and come to here. All right? So another question. When you think, now I am giving you a second chance, right? What 3 words would people currently use to describe you? Chaniendele kusonga nyuma. Yes, madam. Tell me your name, and then you tell me 3 words people would use to describe you. Can you guys hear her? Speak up.
My name is Nepadon Tipape. 3 words people currently use to describe me, I think reliable.
Reliable. Kind. Lively. All right. And what do you do?
I'm a student.
You're a student at JQuat. All right. What do you do? Like, what do you study? Political science. All right. Somebody else? Yes?
Hi, my name is Ruth.
3 words people will use to describe me. I'd say understanding, open-minded, welcoming.
Okay. Understanding, open-minded, welcoming. As I am asking these questions, I want you to be writing this down. When you think of yourself, even think about the project you're doing right now. Yeah? What 3 words would people use about you? When it comes to the work that you do, if I was an investor and you were to present before me, what 3 words would you represent yourself as? Right? All right. So we're going to move on swiftly to discovering your unique niche. Who can tell me what niche is? Yes. All right, it's okay. What did you say? Sorry? A gap. All right. Did you want to say something different? All right. Now, when you're thinking about your unique niche, we're talking about the space where your passions, your strengths, and your values meet the needs of others. Okay? 3 key things: passions, strengths, and values. How are they meeting the gap that is already there? Which are the needs that people have? So I want you to think about it. When you think about the passions you have, something that you're passionate about. For example, me, I'm passionate about training people, talking to people, and equipping them with skills and knowledge so that they can unleash the powerhouses that are within them. When you think about yourself, what are you passionate about? And then what strength do you have? I'm confident. I enjoy speaking to people. I have very good communication skills. It's important for you to know your strengths. And then what values do you stand for? Yeah? And then how do these things come to meet the needs of other people, all right? Now, why does it matter? Number one, it provides clarity. That essentially means I will not go into a space, for example, I will not go into the sports arena and start running or start talking about sports. Why? Because that's not something I'm passionate about. Number two, it enables you to focus. You know your audience, you know who you're talking to, and you prepare with that in mind, right? And then last but not least, it creates opportunities, all right? So what is the framework that you use here? Think about your strengths. What are you good at? What are you good at yenye unajua? Mimi nikiekwa hapa kwa stage, tuwekwe hata watu 50. I know I will be number one. Why? Because I'm really good at this. I don't even struggle when it comes to this. Passions, what do you love? What do you love that helps you piggyback on the strengths that you currently have? And then lastly, what problem does the world need and how are you using your strengths and passion to solve that issue? All right? Now, I have a mini exercise for you. On your book, ask yourself, what is one problem you're passionate about solving? I'm going to give two people an opportunity to tell us. Anybody? Any volunteer? A problem you're passionate about solving? Are you raising your hand? Ah, awesome.
I'm thinking about it. My name is Jacob Kamaumiano. One problem, okay, it is a problem that is to become, it's a problem that is upcoming. I'm really passionate about boy child mentorship.
Okay.
And the empowerment of a boy child. And I think the problem that it then result is raising a generation of men who are weak enough to not face their issues, weak enough to not speak about their issues. So I'm passionate about creating or rather distinguishing or demystifying that gap by providing mentorship and giving them like tools that they can use to be able to speak their mind and to be able to speak about their issues openly in spaces where they feel uncomfortable.
Okay. I think that is good. The question I would want to ask you, what strengths do you have that you feel would be able to help you pursue that?
So first of all, it's emotional intelligence, self-awareness, confidence, and of course, public speaking skills. And most, apart from that, is also interaction, especially in terms of rather situational awareness and also awareness of others.
Okay.
That I'll be able to understand where they're coming from, their story, and what actually is disturbing them, or rather what's the baggage that is stopping them from sharing what is going on in their life.
Good stuff. Let's give him snaps. Amazing. He's told us about his strengths. He's articulated it very well. He's talked about how passionate he is about it and the problem that he's coming to solve, okay? So it's important for you to know these things, all right? So that when you're given an opportunity to stand in front of people, you can clearly articulate what you're passionate about, what your strengths are, and what problem you're solving. Are we together? Have we listed down the problem we are passionate about solving it? We've listed it down, right? All right. So let's come to building your brand persona. When you talk about your persona, think about your leadership identity, online and offline, right? How many of us are on LinkedIn? All right. How many of us are actively on LinkedIn? All right. I love that. There's so many places you go. People, yes, you have a LinkedIn profile, but there's not much you're doing with it. All right. So when I go and look at your profile on LinkedIn, and then I meet you in person, do these two things resonate? They do?
Yes.
They do? Atuko sure. They do? Yes. How do they resonate? Who wants to tell me? He wants to tell me. Awesome. Tell us. You've been gladly volunteered.
Okay, I think the personal impression when it comes to my LinkedIn profile because the way I present myself in front of people, or when I meet someone who doesn't know me, and when they go view my profile, they'll be just like this is the perfect match. Like, there is no deviation.
Okay.
And also, let me say I'm a law student, so whenever I go and whenever I speak, then I just give the vibe of the person.
Okay. And so I'll give you a funny story that I saw the other day on LinkedIn of this guy who had like a very impressive LinkedIn profile. Na alikuwa amejiweka majina kubwa kubwa. And then somebody saw him and was like, wow, I really want to meet this guy. I want to see what this guy is about. The person who showed up could not even articulate the things that were put on LinkedIn. Why? Because right now we're living in the age of AI. So it's very possible for you to just go on ChatGPT or Gemini or any other AI tool and just type, create for me a post about this. And then unaenda unaichapa wapi? Pap. And people look at it and they're like, wow, yani, I want to meet this person. Form 34A iko sawa. Nikikuja form 34B kwa ground, not the same person. And it's also the same thing. At times you get so many impressive CVs, but then when you call that person for an interview, they just fall vibaya sana. Why? Because it is okay, first of all, to want to have that kind of a profile, but the question is, are you working towards that particular profile, all right? So what are the components of this? It is important for you to know, what do you want to be known for? When people are thinking about you, what do you want to be known for? And it has to match physically and also online, all right? The second thing, what values do you stand for? What are the values you stand for as an individual? And can I be able to see that when I meet you? Like when we're talking about, you are saying, Mimi, I am against corruption. I don't even like how this government is, nini. But then, ukienda ukutane na karao uko nje atake kukushika. Unaambia boss, shika hii 500. Are you living your value? And then how do you show up? And when you're showing up, it's your tone, it's your style, it's your presence. So even as you're writing, do you know there's a tone when you're writing? Yes, you can be funny, you can be firm, you can be nurturing. Yeah? So when I read what you're posting, can I be able to see your tone? And when I meet you in person, because some people can be very strong, but nikikutana na wewe in person, you're timid, you're shy, you're like, okay. You know, but when I look at your online persona, I'm like, I am meeting a Boniface. But when I meet you, you're so shy. So these two things have to resonate. Are we together? And then your style, how you present yourself, how you dress, how you talk. It's very, very important. And then your presence. When you walk into a room, what do people see? Do they see confidence? Do they say, I can buy whatever you're selling? Or do they say, ay, kidogo huyo? And I don't even want to go down to small things like, you can't walk into a room ukinuka jasho. Na wewe uko hapo unasema, by the way, kitu yenye ninauza, you have to buy it today. I'll be like, kidogo no. Even the type of cologne or perfume you choose to wear talks a lot about you. And it doesn't even have to be expensive. Personal grooming, very important. CV, some of us think because I'm already in school, I don't have working experience. Unaeka tu hapo ka one pager, kenye hata haiwezi onyesha you went to school and you got skills and knowledge. Some of the projects you're working on right now, those are the things that our employer wants to see. What did you work on? What are the things you learned? Even in the classwork and the coursework we are doing, what are you picking from it? There are some assignments you've been given to do. It can be a project, it can be a term paper. You worked on it. There are things you were able to get. There's research that you did. How can you be able to transfer that to your CV so that somebody can see, akuenda to 4, 5, 6, 7 years in Campo to just bam and come and tell me, oh, by the way, I have a degree. And mark you, you're not just one person who's sending a CV. At times we post out jobs and you get 1,000 CVs. So what will make me choose your CV? So you need to know that your brand persona will be speaking about you even before we meet you in person. So what is a brand statement formula? I want you to think of this. When you want to introduce yourself, I want you to think of, I help, which audience do you help? It's important to know your audience. Achieve, what transformation do they get through? What are the skills and values you have? So this is how you introduce yourself. Like he mentioned, he's working with boys. So he would say he helps boys achieve whatever he mentioned through XYZ that he's doing. So the next time you're told to stand and introduce yourself, don't just say, my name is Muthoni Kariuki and I'm a trainer. No. There are so many trainers. What is making you stand out? You need to say, my name is Muthoni Kariuki, and what I do, I empower people with skills and knowledge, right? That help them unleash the powerhouses in them. Because you could be thinking, me niko tu. But do you know inside you there's a powerhouse? And that powerhouse can only be unleashed when we work together and I equip you with skills and knowledge to know how to present yourself, right? So it's important to think about your brand statement. Now, one of the things I want you to do is, I want you to create a 1-sentence personal brand statement about yourself. And I want you to rehearse it. You rehearse it kabisa, because you only have one opportunity and you never know when the opportunity comes. And that has to be seen even from now, from the way you present yourself. If you're given an opportunity to do a presentation, make sure it is standing out. Make sure it is presenting who you are, all right? Cool, now we're going to be looking at platforms and presence. When you think of personal media, what comes to mind? Sir, what comes to mind when you think of personal media? Sema tu.
I can think about maybe your social media platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the social media presence, your presence in social media. So.
All right, good. Madam, what do you think when you see personal media? I can't hear you. You're thinking like him. All right. Now, these are platforms where you share your personality, your lifestyle, and your day-to-day experiences, okay? So what is the purpose? Relatability and storytelling, all right? And the examples are Insta, TikTok, and Facebook. And I know we have seen this. We see people go to Insta, they do lives, they go to TikTok, they go to Facebook. They could be showing you a get ready with me, a day-to-day of what my life entails, where I went and ate, what activities I was doing, and so on and so forth, right? So what are the content type here? We have photos, reel, casual updates, behind the scenes moments, and personal reflections. And here, the audience most of the times are friends, peers, community, networks, all right? It is important to know this, and I will tell you why. Because there's a difference between this and this, right? When you think of professional media, what comes to mind? Yes, LinkedIn. What else? LinkedIn peke yake. All right, let's see. Now, these are platforms where you choose to showcase your expertise, achievement, and thought leadership. Do you know what thought leadership is? Anybody? So thought leadership is where you're considered an expert in a particular field, right? So I would say I'm a thought leader when it comes to things like sales. I've been called to different platforms to speak and also to act as a panelist. So here, the purpose is building credibility and authority. You want to be well known for a particular subject. You need to start building credibility. How do you do this? You create content that is around some of these things so that people can start seeing, there's something that this guy or this lady is up to when they're talking about this thing. And because you've been doing this over time, when people think of who is good in personal branding, they will think about you. Who is good in law, they will think about you. And in all of these things is also a niche. So just don't say law alone. What are some of the things you want to be well known for in law? Yeah? Where do you want to become an expert when they are thinking about some of these things? And of course, the examples are areas like LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very big. You can use X, or what is called Twitter. You can use YouTube, and you can also use a podcast to be able to just build your brand around this. And what is the content type here? We're looking at articles, insights, industry trends, case studies, and professional reflections that you can easily be able to build up on. And who are the audiences? Employers, partners, collaborators, and even mentors. So it is important to know the difference between these two, because I have seen people who go and do personal stuff here. Unaenda tu LinkedIn, unaanza kukatia watu huko LinkedIn. Or you just post like just random photos. And that is the space where your potential employer is. That is where a partner is, a collaborator or a mentor is. So it is important to be very sure what you need to post where, so that you don't find you're doing personal things here. It's actually better when you're doing professional things on personal media, but not the other way around, okay? Because there are so many people who have lost a lot of opportunities here. I don't know whether you guys saw recently, there are these guys who had, it was a CEO and a head of HR. You guys saw that? Like me, nakwambia, it takes so much time to build your brand, but it is just that one mistake. That one mistake that makes people even don't want anything to do with you. And then, you know, even the values that you would stand for, you know, like as a HR practitioner, like you're not supposed to be having those office affairs. Why? Because they are very messy. And then there you are with the CEO. Imagine the policies she had come up with in the company. Na ulisimama mbele ya nini ya watu ukawa train about the policies. Oh, we do not promote this, but chini ya maji, that is what you're doing. So you really, really need to be careful about that, right? All right, so the key question I want you to ask yourself here, does my profile communicate my skills, strength, and leadership niche? And that's why I said, start from where you're passionate about. Don't go to start talking about things you're not passionate about. Start talking about the things that interest you, the things you're passionate about, and start creating for yourself a niche around this, yeah? Now, I want us to think about your profile audit. When you think about your bio, does it reflect who you're becoming? Most of the times when we see jobs, they are usually written 5 years experience, 10 years experience, and you're wondering, me hata sina hiyo experience, right? So what do I have to contribute? But I can tell you for sure, most of us need to be mentored, but we can also be mentors where we are, right? Because I'm assuming a majority of us are, on average, what is the age range in this room? 21, 22, right? So you already have 21 years that you have lived, that you can be able to tell people about what you've been able to learn for the last productive years that you've had. So you need to make sure that you know where you're going. So you're looking at your bio. Is it looking at where you're going? How I am presenting right now and preparing myself, how is it helping me get to the next level that I want to go to? it is important for you to ask yourself those reflective questions and think about them, okay? Secondly, your profile photo. Inakaaje? How is it looking like? And let's remember, kuna personal na professional, right? So how is it looking like? Is it talking about who you are? Because first impressions matter. When I see your personal profile, what will I say about you? It is important to know this. And also remember who is your target audience. Kuna kwingine where being fun, being energetic is what is needed because that is the audience that you're trying to talk to. All right? Then there are others who you really need to be serious. You need to be seen in a suit and whatnot. For example, people who are lawyers. They are well known for being very smartly dressed and very professionally looking. Suti, see broken. Kuna very specific colors. You can't go in a white suit or in a red suit or in a pink suit. No. But then there are places. For example, if you are a fashion designer, you cannot go looking at TV. You need to be trendy. You need to seem like you are influencing what people need to be following as a trend. So it's important for you to know who you're talking to so that even when you're presenting yourself in terms of your profile photo, that represents that. And then the posts that you're putting, are they aligned with the niche and the values? For example, you'll see people who are into comedy. They will jump on whatever trend is happening and they will find an angle to make fun about it, right? Because those are the people that they are targeting. But kuna places zingine utapata, that is not what they are targeting. Like they will not make fun posts and whatnot because they know the profile of people that they are targeting. So it is very, very important for you to know that so that you make sure whatever you post online is also matching with your niche and the values that you stand for. So I would want you to take a minute and think about your personal profile and specifically your professional profile. When you do this, when you audit, what are some of the things you need to change? What are some of the things you need to make sure you are enhancing so that when people think about you, they can easily be able to see and believe in what you're putting out there, all right? Now, we're going to talk about creating influence and thought leadership. So a majority of us usually say, and I've met so many people saying, for some of these jobs, as I've mentioned, they need X number of years. And I feel like the door is already shut before I come in. But I usually ask this question, what seat at the table are you earning for yourself? Because again, there are still people who are approached even before they graduate and they're told, come, we see there's something you're up to. And you would want to build on that and see how we can be able to bank on that. Look at influencers right now. They make money, right? How do they make money? How do they make money?
Brand promotion.
Brand promotion. For a brand to approach them, what have they seen? What have they seen? Actually, they've seen what? Following. Capability. But I'll tell you what brands usually look out for. I won't just go to anybody. I will look at who is my target audience as a brand. And then I look at, if this is my target audience, out of all the content creators, who should I approach? Who is targeting the target market that I am looking at? All right? So that's why I say it is important to build on your personal brand and know the niche that you're following so that even when you go and present yourself, for example, to a company, you already say, I have a following of these people who follow me because of X, Y, and Z. And because of this, I can easily be able to allow you to come and promote your product or your services with me, because you can be assured the target market that you're targeting, they are the ones who are following me. Are we together? So whatever you post, whatever you put out there can help you create for yourself a seat at the table. So don't wait until 5 years are over so that you say you have 5 years experience. You can start off right now. And then, so how do you position yourself? Number one, share your insights regularly. You know your target market, or you know the target market that you want to start building and creating for yourself. You need to be sharing insights so that the people who are following you, they're not just following blanks. They can be able to see, oh, these are things that I can be able to apply. These are things I can be able to learn. Secondly, speak in community forums. First of all, join those communities where whatever you're talking about is relevant. And then don't just join and start seeing what people are doing, alafu kuko kama silent follower. No, start talking in these communities, because that's how you create a name. And then you need to be writing, blogging on LinkedIn or student platforms so that people can easily be able to see you. They can be able to identify you as a person, the go-to person when it comes to a particular thing. So let's talk about an example. There's a young guy who became a UN youth representative by consistently just writing on LinkedIn. And it is so good when I see you guys already are in a community like this, because there are others who are out there and they're not seated on this room, right? It means there's something that you guys are doing extra of what has been provided by the university. So look for such opportunities. Volunteer. You can become a leader. You can become a chairperson. You can become a treasurer. You can become whatever it is. Why? Because it's honing on your leadership skills. And then these are the things that you also make sure you put out there. You create content that is aligned to what you're doing. Yeah? So the discussion question that I have here, if you had to share your knowledge with the world this week, what would you write about? What would you write about? What would you write about?
This week,
Yes.
MMFs.
MMFs, what about them?
About how when you want to start savings and investments, MMFs are the one to look into, especially because of their compound interests and the way they can just like group things for you in terms of creating small goals while still attaining the same interest that is not usually gotten through banks and other saving apps that are available for people.
All right. So what you have told me can be able to even create 4 or 5 posts on the same thing. So it is important for you to know and start thinking this week, because we're going to be talking about the next steps. I want you to think, if you had to share your knowledge this week, what would it be about? And how I want you to look at it, I'll give an example on LinkedIn. Choose one topic. You can choose to think about your content creation for a whole year. And then in the whole year, divide it into quarters. As you're dividing it into quarters, think about what are the themes you want to be focusing on. And then based off on who you're targeting or what topic you want to be talking about, start researching what are some of the months that are celebrated with regards to the things that you're targeting. All right? So for example, if you're into, say, plants or like the green space, you can start looking at the holidays that are celebrated and start asking yourself, how do I position myself and build up content that is going to end up to the day that you are celebrating that particular day. Now, when you break down into themes, start thinking about it in terms of quarters. Month 1 to month 3, what do I want to be talking about? Which topic am I going to be covering every month? And then after you think about the topics you're going to be covering every month, break that down into 4 different subtopics that you can talk about, that you can be posting about on a weekly basis, all right? Now, when it comes to targeting your audience, you need to understand that not everybody is your audience, and clarity is important because that is what is going to give you impact, okay? So you need to understand your target audience well. And some of these people could be, you could be targeting your peers, who could be students and youth. You could be targeting institutions, which are NGOs or probably university, or you could be targeting communities. So in terms of communities, you could be targeting parents, faith groups, society, and so on and so forth. It's important for you to know who you're targeting. Why? Because this is going to inform how you're going to tailor your tone. What kind of a tone are you going to be talking? Is it going to be formal, casual, inspiring, or educational? Is it going to be any of this? And then it's important to also know what platforms are you using. Are you using Insta, TikTok, LinkedIn, X, YouTube, or which one? And then it's also important for you to know the content because you know who you're targeting. And here, I want you to think of your target audience when you're thinking of the brand that you're putting out there. I want you to create one audience persona. Break them down. Think about their age, what role they play, and what they need from you. Because once this is clear, even as you tailor your message, you make sure that it is what is resonating with the people you're looking at. So I'm gonna give us, say 6 minutes for us to do a bit of group work. And how I'm going to split this is you guys are going to be one group up till here. And then you guys are going to form another group up. And then you can be a group and you guys can be a group. You can just turn your chairs. I want us to discuss 3 questions.